Good evening, everyone. First of all, I just want to welcome you all to the 12th annual Candlelight Service of Remembrance. For me, it's a time where I get to think about my mother, my father, and my loved ones that I don't see all the time, and that I think about most of the time during the holidays. I wrote a few things down and I'd like to share, and hopefully this will bring some comfort to you as it does to me when I talk about the things that make me smile and the things that make me pause. The power of pause. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, and loved ones. As we enter into this holiday season, we're reminded that there's someone missing from the table. And what we need to remember is they're still here in our hearts watching us, every move and enjoying every accomplishment. The loss in the love of a loved one, whether it may be your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, a child, a niece, a nephew, a dog, a cat, grandparents, the bottom line is it still hurts. Nothing can take away the empty space and the pain and the emptiness that you feel. It's the grieving process. It's not easy. It's different for everyone. And we all have our personal journeys. Some people feel and may not say anything. Some people like to talk about it. It's your personal journey. It's your grief. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I'm here to share my experience. I work for Mission Home Health and Hospice. So when I meet folks, whether they're thriving or in rehab or whether they're at the end of life, there are multiple stages of grief. We just have to be willing to listen. Sometimes I sit in silence because we want to fix things, knowing that there's nothing medically that a doctor can do, nor a pharmacist. Life is a journey, and during this journey, we realize it's our process during this journey. I lost my mother 4 years ago. It was unexpected. Unlike my father, we had an opportunity. We knew he was going to pass. They said 2 weeks, it lasted 5 months. It was a great 5 months of laughter, joy, and pain. Well, my mom, she suddenly had a heart attack, and we were not in town. Actually, we were celebrating in the month of December. My husband, my sister's husband, and my brother's wife all had birthdays in December. So we were out celebrating at Shumash. We all had a hotel room, and we were doing the Soul Train line and doing dancing and drinking and having a good time. And they told us if we didn't keep the music down, they were going to kick us out of the hotel. So you can tell we were pretty happy. About 9:30 in the evening, we got a call. Well, I got a text and I ignored it, and I got another text and I ignored it. But nevertheless, I saw a message come across my phone that said, "Your mother just passed." I didn't really know how to feel. I didn't know what to think. I looked at my sister and said, "This doesn't make any sense." I didn't quite understand. We weren't in any condition to go to be with her that night. And my aunt was in the same casino as we were in. And she left and told us, "I got it, you stay there." My mother was my greatest fan. I do stand-up comedy, and I like to give back to the community. I support the children, always trying to raise money for kids going to college. And my mom would always say things like, "Go ahead, Miss Cotta. You got it, Miss Cotta. I believe in you, Miss Cotta." I still have those words, and they still penetrate, they still hurt because I don't hear her say them, but I know she believes in me. That's my personal grief that I have to live with. And during the holidays, I just like to talk about the grief. Grief is the price of love. The risk of love is loss. The price of loss is grief. But the pain of grief is only a shadow when compared to the pain of never risking love. Grief is a passage. Grief is not a disorder or a disease or a sign of weakness. It's an emotional, physical, spiritual necessity. The price you pay for love, and the only cure of grief is to grieve. Grief is a necessary transition. Grief is a necessary passage and difficult transition to finally letting go of sorrow. It's not a permanent rest stop. Grief is manageable with time. Grief can be more manageable, but you need to find that grief is making it difficult for you to function normally. If it is, seek professional help. How you respond to loss is up to you. How you respond to those losses, what's left is a part of you. You have to make it up as you go. Grief never ends but changes. Grief never ends but changes as the passage is not a place to stay. I was reminded at Thanksgiving that my mom wasn't there and my father wasn't there. But with the candlelight visual that I experienced last year, I had those candles, these beautiful candles that we set around the dinner table. I am grateful for Reardon, the Reardon Family Funeral Home of Oxnard. My father, my brother-in-laws, they all had their services here. Every now and then, I get something from Don, the chaplain, and I brought it with me. And it's a reflection from the chaplain, Don Henderson. I'm in charge of how I feel, and today I'm choosing happiness. Thank you.